Good afternoon, students. Welcome to my lecture. Today we are going to discuss about major element. We are going to discuss about the major element, encapsulation and hierarchy. Before discussing about that, let me recap for 10 minutes previous session topics. Sorry, previous class topics. Let me recap it. In previous class, we have discussed about major element abstraction. In that, we have discussed about the examples of abstraction. I took the example hydroponic farming system. Let us see what is meant by hydroponic farming system. See, this is a hydroponic farming system where the plants are grown in some closed area. You can see, right? See the picture. Sorry. See the picture. Where plants are grown in some closed area. Okay, the plants are grown in closed area, and here in hydroponic farming system there is no soil, no need to use any soil. Okay, plants are grown without soil. Plants are grown without soil. There is no soil. Here plants are kept in some tubes. See, these are the tubes where water will flow. Okay, this is a hydroponic farming system, one of the revolution in farming. Here, no soil is used. In natural farming, plants are grown in soil, right? From soil, the plants will absorb all the nutrients. But in hydroponic farming system, no soil is used. You are growing the plants without using soil. Okay, next here, in a closed environment, here everything is closed. It is not exposed to the nature. It is closed. In a closed environment, you are growing the plants. See here, these are the tubes where water will flow. From these tubes, water will flow. No soil is used. From these tubes, water will flow and the roots will absorb the water. And the water will contain all the nutrients. From the reservoir, there will be a reservoir. Okay, there will be a reservoir which is filled with water, and water contains full of nutrients which are required for the plants. So water will flow from these tubes. From these tubes there will be roots inside this, right? There is no soil inside here. There will be roots. The roots will absorb the water. And see, in natural farming, temperature, humidity, pH, nutrients, all these are provided by the nature itself. Okay, all these are provided from the nature itself. But in hydroponic farming system, you need to maintain the light. You need to provide the lights. Temperature must be maintained. Humidity must be maintained. And the nutrients, you need to provide the nutrients. So here everything is taken care by the automated system. Everything is taken care by the automated system. No human intervention. In natural farming, everything is taken care by the nature. Okay, nature will provide the lights to the plants. Nature will provide the temperature, humidity, pH, everything. Okay, from soil it will absorb all the nutrients. But in hydroponic farming system, no, nature is not providing. You have to provide. You have to provide the lights, and you have to provide. You need to maintain the temperature. You need to maintain the humidity. You need to provide the nutrients through water. So without intervention of human being, you won't provide. Everything will be provided by automated system technically. Okay, you won't intervene. Okay, you will just take care of the system. Okay, technically here farming is done technically. Let us see how it works. First, in order to identify all the abstractions, first you need to understand what is hydroponic farming system and how it works. You need to understand, right? That's why I'm showing all these things. This is a hydroponic farming system. How plants are grown in a closed environment within less space. You can grow any type of plants in any season. In any season, you can grow any type of plants using this hydroponic farming system. Let us see how this works. How this hydroponic farming system will work. Let us see it. Let us see it's working. Let us see how this hydroponic farming system works. See here how this is a reservoir. Okay, this is a reservoir which contains water filled with rich nutrients. Now there will be a pump which pumps the water. Water will flow through these tubes. See the direction, how the water is flowing. And roots will absorb the nutrients from the water. And again, from this direction, one second. From other direction, water will come to the reservoir. Okay. This is how it works. Reservoir contains water, just water. Plants are grown in water only, using water only. No soil is used. Again, see. See, from this direction, water is coming. From this direction, water is flowing to the plants. Plants will absorb the water. And from other direction, again water is coming to the reservoir. Roots will absorb the water, which contains nutrients. And from other direction, water will flow. Again, it comes to the reservoir only. This is a reservoir. I hope you understood. This is a hydroponic farming system. Now let us see. First, we need to identify the abstractions. We need to identify the classes. Let us see it. In order to identify the classes, first you need to understand what is hydroponic farming system. I hope you understood what is hydroponic farming system. Now let us see the abstractions, classes. Let us identify the classes. See the abstraction. So as I said, temperature is not maintained by the nature. You need to maintain a temperature. There will be automated system. Temperature you need to maintain. Okay. Now there will be a temperature sensor, right? To show the temperature, there will be a temperature sensor. There should be a temperature sensor. Let us see the characteristics. Okay, characteristics. Temperature and location or the data. What is the data? It will show the temperature and it will show the location, right? So, the data is, this is a class. The data is temperature and location. Next, let us identify what are the responsibilities. What are the responsibilities of temperature sensor? It must report current temperature. What is the current temperature? It must report. This is the method or responsibilities of temperature sensor. Next responsibility is calibrate. Calibrate means adjust. Calibrate means adjust. Okay. First, you need to identify the temperature sensor. This is an abstraction, just abstraction. Abstraction means you can see only necessary details. All the methods implementation you cannot see. Okay, temperature sensor. This temperature sensor is a passive one. Passive. Why you are saying it is a passive? Let us see it. This is a hydroponic farming system. Okay. See here. See. A person should operate it. That's why I'm saying it is a passive sensor. Someone must operate it in order to see the temperature. See here. In order to see the temperature, someone must operate it. Someone must calibrate it, must adjust all those things. Okay. This this sensor will show only the report. Someone must operate this sensor. So it is considered as passive one. Passive. Okay. This temperature sensor is passive because by itself it is not reporting. Someone must operate it. That's why it is a passive sensor. Let us see active sensor. This one is somewhat complicated. Active sensor means here in this sensor you will set a point. You will set a point temperature. Whenever the temperature raises the point or whenever the temperature reduces this point, then it will report. Then the temperature will report. That's why here we have taken as active sensor. No one will operate it. It will operate by itself. Just you need to set a point. Temperature, you need to set a temperature. Whenever the temperature rises or whenever the temperature falls down, at that time it will report. This sensor will report. Let us identify what are the data, what are the responsibilities. Let us see it. Data is temperature because it must show the temperature. It must show the location. You must set a point. This is the data required. Let us see its responsibilities. What is its responsibilities? What is the responsibility of active sensor? It must report current temperature. Calibrate means adjustment. Establish a set point. A set point must be established. This is the abstraction of active temperature sensor. Let us see, there is another abstraction called growing plan. See, plant will be grown from stage by stage, right? Okay, stage by stage it will grow. So, for every stage, there must be a growing plan. Like a seed growing plan, there will be seed growing plan. When you sow seeds, you have to set a growing plan. Like fruit growing plan. To produce the fruits, there will be a plan, growing plan. You need to set all those things. You means automated system. There is no human intervention. Everything must be taken care by the automated system. Okay. So let us see, for example, on 15th day of plant, you need to set, there must be a temperature must be set like 76 degree Fahrenheit for 16 hours. This is a plan on 15th day. For example, this is just a plan. And lights must be off. Lights must be off. That means it must be dark. It must be dark for 14 hours. Just it is a plan. And next, temperature must be reduced to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, this is just a plan. On 15th day, this is a plan. There must be 76 degree Fahrenheit temperature must be maintained for 16 hours. And all the lights must be off. There must be dark. It must be dark for 14 hours. And later, temperature must be reduced to 65 degree Fahrenheit. This is a plan. Like this, there will be many plans. Like this, there will be many plans that you need to identify it. Growing plan. There will be many plans. So, characteristic is name. Let us see the responsibilities. Set plan. That means just now I have explained. Set temperature. Setting plan means set temperature, pH value, lights, everything. You need to set it. Next you need to modify. Later stage you need to modify the plan, right? Or you can clear the plan. These are the responsibilities of growing plan. These are the classes or abstractions. Just abstraction means only showing necessary details. It won't show all the inner details of these methods or responsibilities. Now, today's topic is encapsulation. The second major element. See here. See, we are discussing about major elements. Already this topic is completed. Abstraction is completed. Next major element is encapsulation. Next major element is modularity hierarchy. We are going to discuss about remaining one. Now let us see major element, essential element, encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Encapsulation means, let us see what is abstraction. You need to know abstraction. You know that hiding all the details. It will hide all the details while showing necessary details only. In the same way, here encapsulation what it will do means groups, or it will wrap all the data. It will wrap, or it will group, all the data and operations into single unit. Encapsulation, it groups or it wraps all the data and operations into single unit. That means it is protecting the data. It is protecting the data. Okay. See the difference between abstraction and encapsulation. Abstraction also hides the details, right? Hides the details. Encapsulation also hides the details, but both are not same. Encapsulation, it hides structure. It hides structure plus implementation details. That means it is protecting the data from external interference. Encapsulation is protecting the data from external interference. Okay, don't get confused with abstraction and encapsulation. Both hides the details, but encapsulation protects the data from external interference. This encapsulation will hide structure of the object and all the implementation details of object. Okay, here for encapsulation, what you are using? Classes. Class. You are using class, right? Is a user defined data type. Class is a user defined data type. Okay, where all the data and operations are bundled together under a name. Okay, now see here, class has two parts. Class has two parts, interface and implementation. Interface is nothing but abstraction. Interface is nothing. Class has two parts. First part is interface, nothing but outer view. Outer view. Just now we have seen abstractions. Class abstraction, we have seen that, right? Just now we have seen. It is nothing but outer view, interface, abstraction. And next part is implementation. Next part is implementation of all methods. Class has two parts, interface and implementation. Interface is nothing but abstraction. Just now we have seen. Next, implementation means inner details, all the implementation part of the methods. Now let us see the example of encapsulation, real world example, just a simple example. See here, take a car. This is a car, right? Now see here, this is a steering unit. Everything is a, see here, this is a steering unit. This can be considered as encapsulation. This can be related to encapsulation. Because this unit contains many parts. Okay, this is considered as a steering unit. Steering unit. Again, this contains many parts, right? Many internal parts. All parts are coupled each other. From externally viewing, if you view externally, if you are viewing from externally, it will be considered as steering unit. It is a steering unit which contains many parts. All parts are coupled each other. This can be considered as encapsulation, where you cannot see all the internal parts. You can see only steering unit, just like a steering unit. You cannot see how the parts are coupled each other, right? It is hiding, right? This steering unit is hiding all the internal details, how the internal parts are coupled each other. This steering unit is hiding. This can be considered as encapsulation. Okay, I hope you understood encapsulation, which protects the data. Here classes are used for that. This is a simple real world example. In examination also you need to explain with an example only. Real world example and take a technical example. Now let us see another example. Hydroponic farming system. Just now we have seen, right? Hydroponic farming system. Now see here. In hydroponic farming system, this is a light. We must provide a light by automated system. This is a light. Nature will not be provided. Nature will not provide. Because we are growing plants in a closed room. In a space, a small space. Lights must be provided. This is a light. Next, see here. This is a reservoir. This is a reservoir which is filled with water. Everything, this is all water. Okay. Now, here, these are the pumps where water will be pumped. Okay. Water will be pumped. And next, see here, there is a heater. Okay. See here, this is a heater. Now here key abstraction is we are looking at heater. In previous example, we have seen the abstraction of temperature sensor. Now in encapsulation, we are taking an example heater. We are seeing the abstraction of heater. Now what is the responsibility of heater? Why here heater is there? Because it should maintain a root zone temperature. Root zone temperature. Why? Because if water is very cold, okay, if water is very cold, plants will not grow. Okay. Or it will be at risk. Plants it will grow, but it will be at some risk. If water is too cold, if water is too hot, oxygen level will be decreased. Plants will not grow. They will be at risk. So there must be a stable temperature must be maintained. Who will maintain this heater? A stable temperature must be maintained. Okay. This is the use of heater. This heater will maintain root zone temperature. If temperature is very high, if the temperature of this water is very high, then here the plant will not grow. It will be at risk. If temperature is very low, again plant will be at risk. So a stable temperature must be maintained. Here for that heater is there in reservoir. There must be a heater in reservoir. Okay. Now let us see the abstraction of this heater. Let us see the abstraction. See here. Data is location and status. It have to show the location and status. What is the status? It must show. These are the data. And what are the responsibilities of the heater? Turning off. Sorry, turning on. Turning off. Provide the status. This heater must show the status. It must turn on or it must turn off according to the temperature levels. Okay. And the data is location and status. It must show the status and it must show the location. See, in hydroponic farming system, everything will be controlled by, technically it will be controlled by automated system. No human intervention. Okay, no human will control this. Everything will be controlled by automated system. So these are the classes for heater. This is an abstraction. Okay, one part of a class is abstraction, other part of a class is implementation. We are not discussing about the implementation details. We are discussing about the one part of the class. What is that one part of the class? Abstraction. We are not discussing all the implementation details of this. We are identifying only abstraction. Once again, see the PPT and see the heater abstraction. See the characteristics. See the what are the responsibilities of the heater. While designing a system, first you need to identify all the classes, right? Class has two parts. First one is abstraction, interface. Second one is implementation details. First you need to identify the abstractions. Okay, in previous example, we have identified the abstraction of temperature sensor. Now we have identified the abstraction of heater in encapsulation. I hope you understood. Next, modularity. Already you know what is meant by modularity. Let us see how it will play in object model. See, a program is partitioned into individual components. It is nothing but modules. Nothing but some piece of program. Okay. It refers to the partitioning the program into individual components, nothing but modules. Modules will have some piece of program. Okay. What are the overall goal? Let us see. Here, these modules, we can compile it individually. That means we can develop each part of the system individually using these modules, right? We can divide the program into modules. That means what we are doing here, you can develop each part of the system separately. Later it can be integrated. Okay. Now what is the overall goal of modularity? See, reduction of software cost as you are developing each and every part independently. Okay. You are developing each and every part independently. So, time will be reduced and reduction cost, software cost will be reduced. Development time, within less time you can develop the components, right? Because individually you are developing the components. Next, complexity will be decreased. Overall goal of modularity is reduction of cost, software cost. Development time will be reduced as you are developing the each and every component individually at the same time. And decrease of complexity. Due to this, complexity also decreases. So due to these separate modules, these modules are separate, right? Later you will integrate. These modules are separate. Due to this, you can modify the module without affecting other module. You can modify the modules separately because you are developing separately. You are writing the code separately in separate modules. This is the overall goal of modularity. This is a major element. First major element is abstraction. Second major element is encapsulation. Third major element is modularity. Let us see an example. First, see here, in structured programming means modularity nothing but subprograms. In structured programming, modularity is nothing but subprograms, these functions. Okay, in structured programming like C language. Now coming to OOP, object-oriented programming, here it represents some package, okay, which contains classes and objects. Package. If you want to use these modules, you need to import it or you can include it. See here, You're including, right? Module 2.h, all these things. You can include it or you can import it. Package. In object-oriented programming, it is called as package. In structured programming, it is called as subprograms. So, while you are designing this, remember that each module must be simple, very simple. It should not be very complex. Remember this. While you are a software developer, as a software developer, while you are designing, each module must be very simple. There should not be complexity. Next, all the data structures or data, all the data of one module should be private. Okay, should be private. That means other modules should not access the data of other module. Okay, one module should not access the data of another module. It should be private. Each module structure must be very simple, and all the data structures it is using must be private. That means one module should not use or should not access the data of another module. If one module want to access, it must include it or it must import it. Okay, this is what you need to remember. If one module want to use it, you must include it or you must import it into your program. Later, all modules will be integrated main program. I hope you understood. Let us see the example of hydroponic farming system. Here, I took growing plan. For modularity, I took growing plan. In abstraction, we took temperature sensor. Remember these examples. In abstraction, we took, what is the example we took? Temperature sensor. In encapsulation, what we took? In encapsulation, we took heater abstraction. Coming to modularity, what we are taking modularity? Growing plan, because there will be many growing plans, just like seed growing plan, fruit growing plan. Okay, in every stage there must be a planning. You must set a temperature. Example, I have said 15th day. In 15th day, you need to set 76 degree Fahrenheit for 16 hours. And lights must be offed. It must be dark. This is a growing plan on 15th day. And later you must set dark for 14 hours. Later you must decrease the temperature to 65 degree Fahrenheit. This is one of the plan. Like this, there will be many plans. In stages, there will be many plans. For seed growing plan, there will be in first stage seed growing, there will be a plan. Next, to produce fruits, there will be a plan. So there will be many plans. So you must develop it modules. Seed growing is a module. This is one module. First module. Second module. Just like that, you need to develop many modules. Fruit growing plan. Just like that, you need to take many modules. You need to develop many modules. See here, name. Responsibilities are established plan. What is established plan? Established plan means you need to set temperature. You need to set light, everything. Next, you need to set pH levels, everything you need to set. There will be a plan. Okay, you need to establish the plan. Next, if you want to modify the plan, you'll modify the plan for next stages. If you want to clear the plan, you can clear the plan. These are the responsibilities of growing plan. For growing plan here, you need to develop in modules. You need to use modules. In every stage, there will be a plan. Each plan, you are going to develop like modules. You are going to use like modules. These are all modules. I hope you understood. Once again, see. Growing plan abstraction. See, in examination, you need to explain what is hydroponic farming system. Next, you need to explain, you need to take this abstraction and you need to explain. Just I have explained like example on 15th day I have explained, right? In that way, you need to explain. After drawing it, you need to explain all those things. Next, hierarchy. Already you know this hierarchy, right? Every complex system must have hierarchy. Then only you can understand all the parts of the system. If it is not following hierarchy, you cannot understand the parts of the system. All the parts of the system components must be arranged in a hierarchical fashion only. There will be several abstractions. While you are going into the complex system, there will be several abstractions. Level 1, level 2, level 3 abstraction, level 4 abstraction. Like this, level wise there will be in a hierarchical fashion. Hierarchy structure. Okay. Hierarchy structure means nothing but class structure and object structure. Already we have discussed what is class structure, what is object structure. Already we have discussed it. Class structure, remember this. Class structure is a hierarchy. Object structure is a part of hierarchy. Already I took example in your previous class. I took example of CPU, Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium MMX, Celeron. I took these examples and I have explained, right? In the same way, in object structure, I took the example of CPU. This is a CPU. And I took this is as ALU. I took this is as a control unit. And these are registers, something. I have explained it, right? In previous class, I have explained it. Okay. Hierarchy is nothing but you need to take two structures. Class structure, object structure. Class structure represented in this way. Object structure will be represented in this way. Object structure is a part of hierarchy. Class structure is a hierarchy. These are the two important hierarchies. If you combine these two, then canonical form will be formed. It is a standard representation. Already I have explained. You need to put together, you need to combine these together. It forms canonical form. Next, examples of hierarchy. See the examples of hierarchy. Single inheritance. What is single inheritance? Anyone please answer my question. What is single inheritance? Students, unmute yourself and answer my question. Already you know all those things. Students, what is single inheritance? What is single inheritance? No one is answering me. A class which inherits single base class. 47 has answered like this. Remaining persons, just memorize what is single inheritance. Only one person have answered. Remaining members, please respond. Message it at least. What is single inheritance? One parent, one child. 51. Okay, good. 20, Kavya, which has one base class and one derived class. Okay. A derived class inherits the properties of class. Number 28, Durga Pujita. 6, Dasari Rishita. A class which inherits another class. Okay. Okay, very good. Let us see. What is single inheritance? Just you have answered very well. Some of the students have answered very well. Very good. Let us see the single inheritance. One class inherits the properties of another class. See here, this is a class. Vehicle is a class. Car is a class. Here, see the arrow mark. See here, this arrow mark is pointing to vehicle. That means vehicle is a superclass. And this is a subclass. Here, this arrow mark is important. See here, in inheritance, you need to use arrow mark like this. Not like this. You should not use like this. Like this you should use. See, this is pointing to vehicle. That means the vehicle is a superclass and car is a subclass. Here, single inheritance means one class acquires the properties of another class. Here, car is inheriting the properties of vehicle. Here, what is the relationship? See here, inheritance relationship is a hierarchy. Car is a vehicle. Okay, car is a vehicle. Vehicle is not car like that, no. Car is a vehicle. Here, car is inheriting the properties of vehicle. Here, you need to know the relationship is, this is important. Which type of relationship here is a hierarchy. Car is a vehicle. And here, see here, arrow mark. See the link, how the link is represented like this. You need to represent like this, not arrow, not simple like this, in this way. Here, this is pointing to this class. That means vehicle is a superclass, car is a subclass. And next, multiple inheritance, where one class acquires the properties of multiple classes. This is called multiple inheritance. One class acquires properties of another class. That means multiple classes. Another class means multiple classes. It is called multiple inheritance. And here, see the relationship. Is a hierarchy is important. Is a hierarchy. Teacher is a person. Again, see. Is a hierarchy. Teacher is an employee. Teacher can be a person. Teacher is an employee. Okay. This is a multiple inheritance. Teacher acquires the properties of person and teacher acquires the properties of employee. Teacher is a person, right? Teacher is an employee, right? Employee in an organization. Here important is a hierarchy. Teacher is a person. Teacher is a person. Next one important thing is see here, arrow mark. You need to give like this. Inheritance you need to give in this way. This is pointing to person. That means this is a superclass. And this is a subclass. And next, see here, arrow mark. This is pointing to, this arrow mark is pointing to employee. That means this is a superclass. And teacher is a subclass. This direction is important. Not like this. In C++ you have seen in this way, right? Like this. In C++ you have seen in this way. Here you need to give in this way. This is correct. In C++ you have seen like this, right? Some class. This is called parent class or superclass and this is called subclass. Okay, in C++ you have seen in this way. Now you need to give relations in this way. This is a superclass. Arrow mark must be like this, from this. And this is a subclass. Don't give arrow mark like this. You should give like this, okay? I hope you understood. hydrophonic forms. Let us see here we have seen simple example. See, you need to explain with simple examples. Later you need to take some technical like this example. You need to explain what is meant by, in every example, just explain what is meant by hydrophonic forms. What is meant by that? You need to explain it and next come to the examples. See here, the example, growing plant. There will be many growing plants, right? I have said it. Many growing plants. In that, I took fruit growing plant. This is a subclass. See the arrow mark. See how arrow mark it is pointing to growing plant. That means growing plant is a superclass. And this is a subclass. Which one? Fruit growing plant is a subclass. See the arrow mark. Arrow mark is pointing to growing plant. That means growing plant is a superclass. Fruit growing plant is a subclass. Now, relationship is important. What is the relationship? Fruit growing plant is a growing plant, right? Fruit growing plant is a relationship is a relationship. Fruit growing plant is a growing plant. And this symbol is important. You need to give symbol like this. Now this fruit growing plant acquires all the properties of growing plant. Okay. Next example, see, rose. Rose is a plant, right? See, is a hierarchy, is a. This is important. And arrow mark is important. See the arrow mark, it is pointing to the plant. Plant. That means plant is a superclass. See the arrow mark. Arrow mark is pointing to plant. That means plant is a superclass and rose is a subclass. And what is the relationship between rose and plant? It is a hierarchy. By this symbol, you are going to identify it is a hierarchy. This symbol means, see, this symbol means hierarchy. Okay. This symbol, arrow mark. Rose is a plant. Rose is a plant, right? Rose acquires all the properties of plant. And next, rose is a flower mixin. It will produce the flowers, right? Rose flower. Flower is a, here important thing, relationship is a relationship. Rose is a flower mixin. Here see the arrow mark, it is pointing to flower mixin. That means flower mixin is a superclass. And rose is a subclass. Rose acquires all the properties of flower mixin plant. Sorry, flower mixin class. Rose is a plant. Rose is a flower mixin. It produces flower, right? It is a flower mixin. I hope you understood this. Once again, see the PPT. This arrow mark is important and this relation is important. Next, here in multiple inheritance, there is a problem. What is that problem? Let us see. See here, this is a superclass. Just an example. I took from just an example. See, actually arrow marks must be like this, right? Just an example. See here, child class is inheriting the properties of father class. Child class is inheriting the properties of mother class. Again, for this superclass, again it is sharing the properties of another superclass. What is that? Family. Now, father is inheriting the properties of family and mother is inheriting the properties of family. Now, in child class, the properties of family it is inheriting indirectly, right? Via father class. See, child class is inheriting the properties of family class via father class, via mother class. That means this child class is having duplicate properties of family. Now, for example, using this object, child class object, if if you are referring any variable of family, now compiler will get some confusion to which it must refer. It must refer through father class or it came through mother class. There will be some ambiguity to the compiler which one it should refer. Either it should refer from father class or either it must refer from mother class. There will be some ambiguity to the compiler because two duplicate copies are inherited to the child class. Okay, family class properties, duplicate properties are inherited via father class and via mother class. This is it. Here ambiguity arises. Compiler cannot understand from which path it should refer, either from father path or either from mother path. There will be some ambiguity. Now, in order to resolve this in C++, can anyone answer my question? How to resolve this? Navya, roll number 6. Number 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Answer my question. How to resolve this?
Using virtual functions.
Yeah, virtual functions. Using virtual base class.
Virtual keyword vision.
Yes, virtual keyword. Making
Yes,
as
ma'am,
virtual base class. Okay, very good. Okay. See how to resolve it. Let us see how to resolve it. You need to use virtual keyword. See here, you need to use virtual keyword class family. Some statements, data or operations. Okay. Next, class father. Here in C++, how you are going to inherit? Colon. Here you are making virtual base class. You are making it as virtual base class. You are making the family as virtual base class. See, virtual public family. Next, class mother, colon. Using colon, you are going to inherit. See here. See the syntax, colon. And you are making the family as virtual base class because from the family only the child is getting two duplicate copies of family, right? Using father path and mother path. From father and mother, this child is getting duplicate copies of families. So you need to declare this base class as virtual base class. You need to declare family as virtual base class. Virtual public family. Next, mother virtual public family. Now family is a virtual base class. Now see, you're inheriting child class here, public father comma mother. Now only one copy will be inherited. Only one copy of family will be inherited. In this way you can avoid the duplications, duplicate properties of family by making the family base class as a virtual base class. In this way, you are going to solve in C++ by using virtual keyword. I hope you understood. If there are any doubts, please respond. Next one, see here. Sorry, I forgot to explain this. Next relation is aggregation relationship. Up to now, we have seen, see here. Up to now, we have seen is a hierarchy. Up to now, we have seen is a hierarchy. Now let us see part of hierarchy. Part of hierarchy. Let us see it. See here, in part of hierarchy, you need to use this symbol. See, in inheritance, you are using this symbol, right? In inheritance, you are using this symbol. In part, to represent part of relationship, you need to use this symbol like this. Okay. See the difference. See the difference for this and this. In inheritance, to represent is a hierarchy, you need to use this symbol. To represent part of hierarchy, you need to part of hierarchy, you need to use this symbol. This symbol. See here. See CPU is part of computer, right? CPU is part of computer. Main board is part of computer. Memory is part of computer. Part of relationship. Part of, that means aggregation. It represents aggregation. Part of relationship. Is means inheritance. Part of means aggregation. This is the symbol for that. CPU is a part of computer. Main board is a part of computer. Memory is a part of computer. Next, cache is a part of CPU, processor. ALU is a part of processor. Program counter is a part of processor. See here, this symbol is important. ALU is a part of CPU. So it must point to the CPU, not like this. You should not use like this. Just it must point like this. Okay. ALU is a part of CPU. Program counter is a part of CPU. Cache is a part of CPU. This is a symbol. I hope you understood. Aggregation means part of relationship. Hierarchy means is a relationship. Class structure represent is a relation, it is a hierarchy. Object structure represents part of hierarchy. You need to remember all these things. I hope you understood. If there are any doubts, please respond right now. If there are any doubts, please respond. Students, is there any doubts? In next class, we will discuss minor elements. Okay, in next class, I will discuss minor elements. See, your first unit is going to complete. After minor elements, your first unit will be completed. I request all the students to go through your notes, material. I have given material also. Material and textbook. Go through the textbook and material. If there are any doubts, you can call me at any time. I'll respond to you. I'll explain to you. No doubts? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, madam.
Okay. Lavanya,
Okay, ma'am.
this is Jocelyn.